Hey everyone, welcome to another video tutorial of the series OmniStudio. So again, we are going to cover a topic that is data sources in the FlexCard. Earlier, we created a FlexCard for to display EPL teams, and there we used an integration procedure, and inside that we used an HTTP action. But this time, we are going to explore new data sources. So for that, let's create a FlexCard, and in this FlexCard we are going to display a list of accounts. So let's name it as account list, and let's keep the theme as same. Keep everything as same, just fix the author and click on next. So we have several data sources for this FlexCard. We are going to explore a few from here. For now, I'm keeping it as none and saving it. We have a blank FlexCard. Now we have to figure out what all fields do we want to display in this FlexCard. So before even going into that, let's see what all things we can get for the account record. Let's query something. ID, name, revenue maybe. I guess this will be enough for now. And we'll export. We'll see that we have few records here. We can add few more details, maybe email or number of employees is fine. All right, I guess we can use this. So firstly, what we'll do is we will go to setup, and in our data source, let's first configure the SOQL query, which we just used here. We'll use this, and let's limit it to 5. We don't want to clutter for now, so we'll just use this and paste the query directly here. And when we'll save and fetch, we'll see that we are getting all of these details which can be used in the FlexCard. Now we hit OK, and we can see in the fields in the bill section, we are getting all the fields that were queried. We can directly put them in here. This is one way, and let's put name at the top and number of employees just below this. Now if we preview it, we'll see all the records that were fetched. Now I don't really like this view, so I usually don't use the fields directly, and instead of this I used this rich text area. Now this is one way of using these fields. The other way is you can use the merge field and put the label, or put the field name. This should be same as what the name of the field is. So it is for name, number of employees, and annual revenue. They have to be exactly the same. So I'll just copy from here and put it here, and I'll update the view as well. It's just I'm copying the values right now and showing you that it will give the same result. All right, so now let's remove these fields and add just this, and let's keep it bold, and since this is the name, so we can make it look large. We can add another, and let's remove this from here. Just keep number of employees in here, and for this we need a label as well. So number of employees, and last one is annual revenue. So I'll remove everything from the first rich text area. and reduce the size of this one to half maybe. Add another one. This time it will be annual revenue. And that's it. So if we preview it, it looks lot, I mean, it'll look a lot better than what we had earlier. It didn't got refreshed. Let's refresh it once again to see the changes. Uh, it takes some time to actually deploy your changes. So if it doesn't work like this, we can refresh the page altogether and see. At the time of development, it happens sometimes, but once you actually activate it, then all of the changes will reflect, and when you will add it on page or maybe somewhere else, it will actually reflect the proper changes, the changes that you have implemented at the last. So it will actually happen. So in order to see all the changes, you might need to activate and then check, or maybe refresh pages to see all the latest changes. So when it say it's almost done, so it is actually deploying the LWC in background. I hope it'll show the latest changes. Yeah, it did. So looks a lot better. You can actually do more things to it with styling part. Now let's move to the next data source, that is the SOSL search. In here we have to configure a few things. Let's say we want to look for any, I mean, these are the configurations that we have to create the SOSL query with. So let's say we look for AC in all the fields, or maybe in name, and we need to select the object. So let's say we have to select accounts here, and we need to add all the fields that we want to output, that is the ID, name, number of employees, and annual revenue. So we'll do one by one. That ID, then name, one was annual revenue, let's look for it, and number of employees. Here it is. All right, and let's limit it to 5 as well. Once this is configured, we'll check if it is returning something. Let's add all of these fields so they get added here, and let's save and fetch, and now see if we're getting anything here. So we again got this, but the wrapping output is an account, so we need to specify which node we want to look into. So for this, let's configure account and save and fetch. This time we'll get the results in the desired format, that is, it will give an array of, or you can say a list of all the accounts, and you see the results here. Again, if we'll preview it, we can see the similar results that we were getting from SOQL queries. So that's all for this SOSL data source. Now let's look for another one. We have Apex remote and Apex rest as well. Let's see what is Apex remote. Okay, it's need a remote class and a remote method. Let's create a class for this. I will name the class as account remote class. Say okay, and I already have a code for this, so I'll just paste it. A few things to notice here is that it implements OmniStudio Vlocity interface. This is important if you want to use this class in any OmniStudio element, be it in integration procedure, HTTP, the remote action, or the source here as the epic source. So you'll have to extend it like this. And another thing is you have to make your class global and also the methods. So we'll just copy these method name and class name and paste it in our FlexCard. So, all right, and this will be the name of method, which is get account records. And save and fetch. So we are getting output from there, but it is coming under account node. So we'll have to set the result path as well. Do a save and fetch, and now we can preview it as we are getting the response now. So this gives a similar result as this SOSL search or the SOQL queries. Let's move to the next data source. We have Apex, REST, and Data Raptors. Data Raptors we are not going to cover. REST integration procedure also will not be covering because they are pretty similar. Next we have is Apex REST. So it needs an endpoint where we can get it from. Let's figure it out from the REST Explorer on Workbench. We'll first see what all things do we have in here. So one thing I know of is query all. Using this, we can directly pass the query and it will return the result based on the query. So I'm going to use this, and you can read documentation for others as well. I'll just write my query here. So it actually is a select ID, and basically just this. We can directly paste it after query all q is equals to this, and it will automatically convert. I'll just copy it. So it automatically adds plus and everything, and it returns the records. So we can directly use this in here as endpoints, and we can remove this. I mean, basically we can configure it if there is additional node is there, but let's try to do it like this. So it actually is in records node. So we'll configure it. And when we save and fetch, we see the same result again. And if we preview, this will not be different from the Apex REST because we are using the same query. So you'll get the same result. Let's explore the other ones as well. Data Raptor we already have used. REST. So just like Apex REST, in REST as well we have to configure an endpoint which will basically give you the result. So this is for the external endpoints basically. If you want to pull data from some other external source apart from Salesforce or the same work, then you use this. Otherwise, if you're doing it from Apex REST, we can use this. And for custom, we actually have to provide the data JSON by ourselves, which I have done in my previous video. You can go and watch that. So in custom, we can directly put our data JSON and it will reflect on this. Uh, I guess we covered most of this. I'm skipping streaming API and SDK because we don't often use this. But apart from this, we use quite a lot. Like mostly we use data raptors and integration in a FlexCard. So this sums up my video. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And I am adding a form link along with this video. So you can post the topics that you want me to cover. I'll try to include them in our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.